What's up, Aquarius, and welcome to your June 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, entrepreneurs, and anyone who's working on their self-expression, personal growth, or spirituality in any form. So if those areas of life are intriguing right now for you, I encourage you to go ahead and keep watching. I also want to say really quickly, because I do get asked this a lot, you can use these readings for your sun, moon, or your rising sign, and it's also possible if sometimes they don't resonate, especially at the beginning of the month. So I encourage you to come back to this reading at the end of June and see, what connections maybe you do feel are relevant to your life, because that will give you more insight into not only how maybe my readings work for you, but also any other readings that you listen to from other readers. So I think it's really a great way to get familiar with how your energies tend to connect to the collective. All right, Aquarius, I want to get into your meditation message. I had actually a really sweet feeling coming through for you guys. I'm not sure exactly what is going on in your life, but I almost feel like there's this energy of I'm as prepared as I can be, and I'm aware that I'm going into the unknown, and I'm aware of everything that can go wrong or that can challenge me or that will be part of this adventure, but I feel like I'm as prepared as I could possibly be, and I'm ready to bring something into existence. I'm ready to really take the steps to create something in the physical for myself, or to manifest something in the physical. Some of you, this could range from a lot of different things. You could be starting something new in your career or your business, or something maybe online. You could be showing up in a different way in the world, or you could even be becoming a parent, if that's something that is really along your kind of path of desire right now. But it really is that sense of okay, I know that this is going to change me. I know that this path is going to change me. I know that this is me kind of opening Pandora's box, but it doesn't mean that what comes out of the box is bad. It just means that once I open it, this is open. And, it's you've thought about this, Aquarius. You've done your strategy. You've done your homework. You are ready to open this freaking box. So you know that there's going to be some challenges, but there's nothing, even the best, juiciest, most delightful things in life are going to come with challenges, but we're here to experience the full spectrum. And I think that that there's so many gems that are going to become accessible to you in this process, that you are feeling that this journey is going to be worth its weight in gold 1,000 times over. So that's really the message. I feel like you are opening this bright new path for yourself, and I'm really excited to get into your cards, and we'll get some more information for you on that. All right, let's take a look at your Animal Spirit Oracle cards for Aquarius. All right, so let's take a look here. We've got the frog crossed by the elephant. Really beautiful. A really big fire creature and a little tiny water creature. So really sweet. So I love the elephant card in this deck. I feel like it has such a beautiful illustration to it and a really beautiful meaning. But let's talk about your path. We have the frog as the direction you're headed. So this is about cleansing with the frog. So some of you could be doing some kind of cleansing or maybe purification of yourself, your physical body through drinking water, purified water, or you might be doing some juicing, or you could be detoxing something in your physical environment or in your diet. There's a sense of like unburdening a load, you know, within yourself. So maybe it's like anything toxic in your diet or anything that you feel at this point has become more of a burden on your system. It's like you're stepping away from that and you're adding in a lot of other good stuff. So on a physical level, I do see the potential for a lot of physical detoxing this month and just a feeling of being renewed and refreshed and feeling lighter. So it's really amazing for any activity related to that. I think this would be great. Also a great time for like doing a steam room or a sauna, like sweating things out. That can be another really great way to cleanse not only physical toxins in the body, but also emotional stuff, like cleansing, you know, sadness or anything that's stagnant, that's lingering emotionally or mentally for you. Exercising, using a steam room or a sauna or something that sort of helps burn that sort of energy out of you and helps you sweat it out. Because again, we have that fire-water connection here. So it's like the fire is sort of helping the water purify and the water is also cooling off the fire. So we have a really nice alchemy going for you this month. But the frog is your path also is about detoxing anything from your life that isn't really serving you and feeling renewed. So that can also be relevant in your career or even in your personal life with like people that you know, spend time with, or maybe you're starting to go out more and you've gone through maybe this reset in your life where you're like, okay, I'm going to be doing things in a particular way now that things are, you know, opening up in most places in the world and things are sort of getting back into a groove. You might be thinking about, you know, how you can really set things up intentionally so that you don't get overwhelmed with anything negative, you know, anything essentially that brings you down. Now with the elephant crossing you, this is kind of like the influence right now. And this is really great because a lot of times I look at that middle card that I lay across as a potential obstacle. I also look at it as an influence. And in your case, what we see is actually the card of the removal of obstacles. So your obstacle is actually that, you know, something is being removed from your path. And so maybe the challenge here is actually to become aware and really to pay attention and to notice those obstacles that have been removed. Because if you've sort of become habituated to a sort of limited existence because maybe in the past something wasn't possible for you, then this card right now is saying that like you have to try and look beyond those blinders that you've developed on yourself, like, and really think about what's possible for me at this time in my life that I'm not used to that being possible. Like, where is the innovation that's available to me now that maybe wasn't available to me 5 years ago or 5 months ago or 5 weeks ago? Really spend some time thinking about what you're not seeing in your life, the opportunities that you're not paying attention to, Aquarius, because I feel like this card has a very special message for you. It doesn't just tell you that you are moving in the right direction and that you have good luck and wind in your sails, which is all meanings of the elephant as a symbol. It's a symbol of good luck and prosperity, but it's also specifically telling you, because it came up as your challenge card or your obstacle card, it's saying the biggest obstacle is for you to recognize that free space that is available to you now. So you have to be alert to that. So let's take a look at your cards and we'll get some more information. Okay. So we've got the Lovers and the Four of Wands, the Four of Swords, the Hermit, the Two of Swords, the Star, the Two of Wands, and the Page of Swords. Beautiful. So we do see quite a lot of inner work this month happening, but we also see a good amount of outer growth and movement. So one thing that I want to say is that, like, funny enough, I feel like for some of you in the first week of the month, so what we have in the first week of June, on June 5th, we actually have a penumbral lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, which for you is in your 11th house of friendships and networking and collaborations. So when I'm looking at this energy with the Lovers and the Four of Wands in that same week that we have this eclipse happening in your 11th house, what we kind of get here is this sense of like new commitments are possible for you right now. New support is also possible for you at this time in your life. And this could be coming from friends. It could be coming from coworkers. It could be coming from former coworkers, from places where you worked in the past. But whatever this is, I feel like, you know, obviously in some ways, even though my readings don't tend to focus on love, I do see the potential for like a wedding here, you know, or an engagement or something along those lines. Some of you really could be either meeting somebody who you're going to eventually end up marrying, or you could be getting engaged, you could be getting married, you could be eloping or something along those lines, because we do know that there's a lot of weird stuff going on with, like, you know, social things right now. But what I see is really, really happy energy here, Aquarius. And I do think that whether or not you experience this directly in the first week of June, this eclipse in your 11th house and these cards coming up in that week are symbolic, and they're a symbolic kind of message telling you that you're crossing a threshold at this time in your life where you're going to actually be able to access more support for yourself and more support for your projects, more support for the causes that matter to you, more support for anything related to like something that you really value, something that you really care about. So when I'm looking at these cards, I really feel like there's a sense of real coming together. There's a sense of maybe a party or a workshop or a collaboration or some kind of commitment being made that is actually really positive and is really in alignment. So again, whether or not you experience that energy exactly that week, the lunar eclipses, in my opinion, can have an influence of about like a month and a half to 2 months on either side. So like working up to it 2 months, and then afterwards 2 months. Solar eclipses are like 6 months total, so they're a bit more longer in their influence. So when you have this lunar eclipse in your 11th, it's going to bring this energy in over a series of experiences, a series of events in your life. It's not limited to just the week of the eclipse. The second week of June, we have the Hermit and the Four of Swords. And if you've ever taken a class with me in tarot, this is something that I actually do. I put these two cards together because the Hermit represents the overarching kind of larger spiritual archetype of, you know, solitude and being, you know, quiet with oneself, whereas the Four of Swords represents what that could actually look like on a practical level, like for a real person, right? And in this context, because tarot is from, you know, the 1400s originally, we do get the sense of, you know, that there's older imagery, older world imagery. So this is actually a night in prayer inside of a church. But essentially, the meaning of these cards is really about going within. It's really about tuning in and calibrating yourself based on your own internal scales, your own internal sense of what is right for you, what is true for you, what is authentic in your life, and really finding the strength and the validation within yourself. So the second week of June is really going to be about going within, and it's really going to be about processing and making decisions that resonate with you, you know, and are not based on external approval at all, or not based on, you know, the opinions of others or the fear of what others may think, but really releasing a lot of that and finding that space for yourself to really gather that strength that comes just when you're listening to yourself. So you're kind of, it's almost like preparation, I feel, in the second week of June, if that makes sense. You're preparing yourself for something. And we see like a continuation of that energy, but it's almost like it's getting closer to whatever it is that you are preparing yourself for. So the third week of June, we've got the Two of Swords and the Star card. And when I look at this, we've got this beautiful moon up here and we've got the star. And both of these are nighttime cards. Both of these are kind of like indoor / nighttime cards. So honestly, the middle of June for you looks really peaceful. It looks like it's going to be really important for you to give yourself some space and some time to really process and formulate your strategies and your plans in the middle of the month. I do think with the Two of Swords, there is the possibility that you could be like intentionally shutting out outside influences as well. So your friends might be like, Aquarius, everything's open. Like, we want to go to the beach. Like, we want to party or we want to do whatever. And you're going to probably be, and this is your card too. So you're feeling really comfortable in your zone, in your territory, in your environment, whether that's at home or in your home office or in your own backyard or just in your neighborhood. You're going to be feeling so good in your space. Like, let me give you another example. If you have a website, if you're like an online business, or if you have a brick and mortar business, but you have, a branch of your business online, or if you're just a purely online based business, I feel like you're going to be looking at your website and being like, dang, this looks really good. Like, this is all the colors, everything just really reflects what I'm doing. This is so authentic. This feels so good. Like, it just feels like your space, your little place in the cosmos. And same if you have a brick and mortar business, it's like you could be renovating your business, or you could be redecorating it, or preparing for opening up again, and just feeling so good in your skin, feeling so good in this environment that you have created for yourself. So whether it's just really loving the way your website looks, or your business cards, or your projects, your portfolio, your brick and mortar store, I think even if it's just your home environment, you just feel really good in your skin. And so you may not really wanting to kind of go beyond that. Like, I feel that there's this energy of like, you're going to open up again. And it will probably be like closer to the end of the month, but that doesn't have to be like right away. Like, there's this feeling that I get with these cards of like, I'm actually really enjoying just being with myself right now, which is interesting because you had this like partnership energy in the first week, and maybe commitments being made in a lot of beautiful supportive energy. So it's not to say that the people that maybe would want to be around you are, not the right people for you or anything like that. Like, this is all you, Aquarius. This is all coming from you. Your desire to be in your own space and to just enjoy that process represents a great degree of personal sovereignty and a great degree of like self-direction when it comes to your destiny. So definitely don't feel bad if you are feeling a little bit like a hermit at the end of the month, or not the end, in the middle of June. That's also when we have on June 21st, we have the total solar eclipse it's actually an annular solar eclipse, which is not going to be visible in the west. It will be visible in the east, but that's going to be on June 21st, right after the solstice, and that will actually be in your 6th house, which is also a house of work. And it's a house of, working through health challenges as well. So some of you, if you've been working on, anything health related, you could start to see improvements there. If you're really, changing anything, like I said before, about your diet, detoxing, anything like that, you could see improvements to your health. You could also see, again, a lot of focus on, 6th house is work, but it's more like the inner aspect of work. It's the daily aspect of work. So again, it's this sense of like, don't mess with me right now. I'm like dreaming up my future. I'm creating a project. I'm writing a manuscript. You like want to shield yourself so you can really have your butt in the chair, as they say in the writer's world, and just get your work done. So, and that feels like if that's what you want, that's exactly what you should get, Aquarius. So with the Two of Wands and the Page of Swords at the end of the month, I do feel like it's very likely that you're going to be kind of like striking out on your next sort of enterprise and taking it more out into the public somehow, because this guy with the Two of Wands, he is on the other side of the wall still, so he is still kind of assessing and creating strategy and thinking about the future and making decisions, right? Because he's got his hand on one wand, but the other wand is still bolted down. So he knows what he's going to do, but he's still kind of formulating the plan. But then we also have the Page of Swords, which is, it shows these clouds moving in the background, and to me that's like a really mutable energy, and you're an air sign, so it's kind of like your fellow air sign Gemini. If you can picture like the Geminian energy, it's basically like clouds moving across the sky. It's like the winds of change are blowing, and it feels like for you, they're blowing in this really beautiful sense of self-assurance as you begin to step out on a new journey for yourself. You know that what you're doing is coming from an authentic place. It's coming from having done your homework in a lot of different ways. And so you're ready to kind of branch out and maybe speak out as well with the Page of Swords. So there could be that kind of thing where it starts again with, because it's the Page of Air, it starts with communicating more about what you do, or starting to reach out to potential clients or potential partnerships, potential collabs. It's about speaking, speaking your truth, speaking out, engaging in some way with your like vernacular and your vocabulary and your way of thinking about whatever it is that you do, whatever your industry is, whatever's different about what you do. It's almost like you're sharing that more at the end of the month, but you had to go through this period of kind of holding your cards close, like in the middle of the month, you're like this. But then like by the end you're like, yeah, like this is what I'm doing, this is the trajectory, this is the plan, and I think it's very exciting for you. So let's check out your Bob Ross message. He says, painting will bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I think this is really referring to the middle of the month where you've got this quieter energy. I think that's going to be about really tuning in to just whatever your art form is. He was a painter, but for you, it's like whatever you do brings good thoughts to your heart. Whatever it is that you create, most of the people that watch my channel are engaged in some kind of creative craft, or they're just interested in evolving and being, the best self they can be, building a strong matrix of self within their life, And I think that like, however it is that you do that, whether that's through gardening or knitting or making YouTube videos, or, being a hairdresser or a stylist or a life coach, whatever it is that you do that brings your heart joy, you should do it. Aquarius, you should do it this month, especially those 2 weeks in the middle of the month, because I think you're going to have a little bit of the time to set aside for that, and it will be really therapeutic for you. Okay, so let's get your surrender card. Ooh, all these cards are surrender to something. You got surrender your fear of change. Ooh, it's like so much exactly like the meditation message. So it says, the universe is reminding you that you are cared for always. Whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or a relationship, or if you fear aging or death, repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. I have faith that all is well. Beautiful, and I love how she's on the horse. She's riding into the sunrise. I don't know, it just feels like you're going into this new expression. It's a totally new chapter for you. And I love that message of surrendering fear of change. If change is good, particularly this change that you're going through, because it is so self-derived. When you have the Hermit, Four of Swords, Two of Swords, and your zodiac card, the Star, it's obviously, this is coming from you, Aquarius. So definitely, I hope that this reading has given you something helpful along that journey. Thank you so much for being here. If you would like to let me know your thoughts, please feel free to leave a comment. If you want to just let me know you're still with me, I love getting those little comments from you guys. You can leave me a little star emoji or just write stars if you don't have emojis on your keyboard. And I hope that this gives you something really useful and brightens your day in some way. You can also give this video a thumbs up, you can subscribe, hit the bell, and you also have the option to donate to support my channel, which I will put below as well. I hope that this is a really beautiful and nourishing month for you guys. I really do think that it's going to be a time of great detoxification for you on many different levels, but I also think that you are moving genuinely towards like a prosperity and an abundance that you have never even experienced before. So I think that this is going to be really like satisfying for you, and this change is going to be going on for a period of time. It'll be months, you know, but you're definitely on this journey because it's the direction that you want to go. So blessings to you. Thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you next time.